I'm not sure how I'm going to follow our last keynote speaker here, but how many of you have heard me talk before? Michelle had asked me to specifically go into really in-depth technical selling things. And it's, some of you that have listened to me before, you'll hear the same things, but I think it's really important. As soon as it comes up, I only have 9 slides, so it's not going to be a real tons of PowerPoints to take a peek at. I'll tell you a little bit about certification in my business first while he's getting this set up. I am a member of the Association of Outdoor Lighting Professionals. What we just heard about is how to build credibility. That association builds credibility. It's designed specifically for our industry. You have credentials behind your name. When you go in to talk to a landscape architect, an architect, or you go in to talk with an interior design professional, which we're going to talk about later, they look for that behind your name. Because you know what? If you talk to an interior design professional or an architect, they all have credentials behind their name. They want to do business with other people that are credentialed. The association provides an education for you that is based on the experience of the members. So it's really practical and it makes a lot of sense. If you want to talk more about that, see me after. I won't talk any more about that. The conference is going on here in Tampa Thursday and Friday and Saturday. It's just up the road in Lakeland, I believe. If you want to check it out, it's really easy. You can just drive up there and register right at the conference. I'll talk, oh, hey, thanks. Would I just push the buttons that way? Okay. What I do, I am not a contractor. I used to be. I've been doing this literally for 27 years. And what I do is I design, then I specify the project. Often I go out and help sell the project with the landscape design build professional, and then I supply the product. And I was looking for a product that stood out in the marketplace, and I promised Michelle I wouldn't swear, so I won't. But most of the stuff that we are purchasing from particular vendors, and it's across, I'm not going to pick anyone particular, when it gets to our hands, it should say crap in a box. And I'm not pulling punches. Most of the product that is in the landscape lighting marketplace today is crap in a box. It has a 5-year lifespan. No matter what they say, it's fiction. And I have had stuff put in my hands before the product is released to the marketplace, and we all have those things. We won't talk about that type of product here, but this product does stand out in the marketplace, which is why I came to Garden Light LED. So that's kind of why I'm here. The other thing, since I've been inspired here, I was really at a fairly low point when I met Michelle. I was going to get out of the business. I'm successful as far as I'm concerned. I have a nice home, a nice car. I've got friends. I was doing very well, and I felt successful. But you know who wasn't successful? Were my clients, because I was losing touch with them. My clients wanted to see me. They wanted me to call on them. They felt like I'd kind of disappeared. And Michelle and Garden Light it's really sort of reinvigorated me, because now I have an exciting product. I've got a manufacturer that actually stands behind my ideals, and I can go back in the marketplace and go, you know what, I've got something to show you. There will never be another time in your lifetime than there is right now to go out and replace the crap I put in 10 years ago. Please understand that. If I was just in the Palm Springs in Desert Southwest. I was in Scottsdale. I was working for some of the wealthiest people in the world. And their huge estate was filled with crap. And there's not a better time to go back, even if you were the ones that put it in, to go back and install product like this, impress them, and take care of them. And that's why I wanted to associate with Garden Lights, because it's time to start impressing people again, saying, you know what? Yeah, don't talk about Home Depot. Don't even go there. I mean, we all love to, I do too, but really try not to say, boy, that's just some Home Depot stuff. People spend a lot of money at Home Depot, and it doesn't always sit well with them. They won't say anything to you, but what we need to do is compare ourselves to our industry and say, you know, this industry has grown so much, it's time for us to take it to the next level. And you can all think of things to say about that, But that's really what Garden Light's about. It's not just about new projects, but it's about taking care of our clients well into the future and replacing the stuff that's out there, because it needs to be replaced both from an energy standpoint and a sustainability. Sustainability, building credibility, all important. That's just my thing. You know, what goes into making the sale? This is a list that if you go to any sales seminar, they should probably adhere to. I used to sell Mercedes-Benz, Range Rovers, and Porsches. I have yet to make as much money as I did when I worked for that branch. I sold so many cars I didn't know what to do. I just worked every single weekend. And they sent me to a school of selling for 2 weeks, and they had gone around and surveyed hundreds and hundreds, literally, of sales professionals, and this is kind of what they came up with. These are the steps that have to occur, and if you short circuit them, you usually find your sales don't work. And each one of you can put this into your own terms, but this is the process to follow for successful skills. And this is what I promised I'd go into more depth after last year's conference. Uncovering your prospects and then finding the customers, understanding your clients and building a rapport, asking questions, probing, and then identifying their needs. These are steps. Presenting your solutions in design, understanding and then overcoming their objections, and then closing the sale. Asking for future business opportunities and referrals. Selling out of this sequence will often or usually kills the sale. And this will be made available to you later on, so you don't have to write it down. But these are the steps that you go through. You may not think of each step when you're going through it, but this is how every successful salesperson out there has found success on every scale, from Carnegie studies all the way up. But this is what typically works the best, and it works for me. Finding prospective clients, Michelle wanted me to hit on this real specifically. How much time are you really selling? How many people here know how much time they're actually selling? No one. No, you don't. You're wrong. You're wrong. You don't. And I would have sat in that chair and said the same thing. I always sell. I'm out selling. I'm schmoozing. You know. No, you're not. Selling is when you're actually in front of the client. So my boss, this is back in the 80s when I sold cars, gave me a stopwatch. And this is something from Germany. He gave me a really nice one, actually. And I would click it when I was actually face-to-face with the client selling. And it was amazing. I was selling cars for about 90 minutes a day. The rest of the time I was walking back and forth to the F&I department or waiting, preparing paperwork, or waiting for them to get, that's not selling. This is the most important thing I can teach you from a sales perspective, is figure out how much time you're selling. Because all of you want to sell more. And it's so much easier than you think. My guess says, and this is a national study, this was done 50 years ago, it was done a couple years ago by major sales organizations, IBM, Xerox, all of them have done studies like this. It's 90 minutes a day. And all you have to do is sell twice as much. So instead of spending an hour and a half, spend 3 hours a day selling, and you'll probably double your sales. Whatever you have to do, figure out really how much time you're actually spending in front of somebody or on the phone with them, actually selling the product, and just double it. And it doesn't take that much of an effort. The golden rule of 10-3-1. No matter how you look at this, no matter what you do, this rule has proven over and over and over again on all fronts. If you approach 10 people, 3 will be interested and 1 will buy. Now that the ratios can go up, but it's almost impossible to break that law of average. It's the 10-3-1 rule. The companies that send out the postcards of the garbage cans, we'd like to pick up your garbage, call us. They know that if they send out 100 cards, 30 people will probably respond in some way, and out of that, 3 of those people will become new clients. That's why they send out like 50,000 cards. I'm not saying to do that, but they're using that ratio to work. Another key point that I was asked to talk about today was networking with design professionals. Owning your client. You all want to own our clients. You know who owns a client? a 55-year-old woman that can sell a $16,000 couch. Interior design professionals own their clients. You want to learn how to sell landscape lighting? Find yourself an interior design professional. Those women, and I'm stereotypically talking about women here because it most often is, they are so confident and so professional, they can sell the most obscene amounts of furnishings, and it's a couch. It's a couch, but they understand their client. Networking with design professionals also means landscape architects and design build firms, people that build homes, architects. Having those credentials behind your name, going in there, brings out a whole new facet of the sale. Go to builders and say, I want to light your next model. I just want to do it. I want to bring, people, especially in my market, they drive by at night. Network with a builder. Network with the architect because they have really big heads. My partner's an architect, heads this big, and they think their work is beautiful. They're very opinionated, and they love to be stroked, if you will. Go in there and say, your next project, I would really like to be involved in the design process. And landscape architects are the same way. That's what I do a lot of work with. I design the landscape lighting with the landscape architects. Building relationships, working with design professionals puts you in that echelon of working in the luxury market. You may disagree with me, but we are in a luxury market. No one needs landscape lighting. I mean, to survive or to have a sustainable life or anything. No one needs it. It is a luxury item. And when we keep talking about price all the time, I have no idea why you're in here talking about price. I know it's a factor, we all have to overcome it, but you're selling luxury. Nobody goes into a jewelry store price shopping. If they are, they're the clients like we talked earlier we don't want. They want to go to somebody they trust, somebody that has a professional appearance, and somebody that has an understanding of design. They want something beautiful, something memorable. It's no different with car sales. It's no different with landscape lighting. People want the best. We just have to help them understand why it's so expensive and why they want it and how they can afford it. When people call me, people say, what about price? I heard this networking. I tell them I am the most expensive landscape lighting person they will ever meet. Don't I, Michael? Michael hears me. You think I'm all BS. No, Michael goes out with me. I am the most expensive landscape lighting person you will ever meet. And you're going to go, because you're a monster. I'm way too honest with my clients. You're a monster and you're going to go out and get 15 different bids. Just make sure I'm the last one. I want to be the last guy that comes through. People want the best. A regular guy that goes in and gets an F-150, he wants a Longhorn. I mean, whatever analogy there is, no matter who they are, they always want to step up. Nobody wants to drive a base Escort with roll-up windows. And those are the people that want to buy on price. They don't know what they want. You're there to, and this, we may disagree. When you're a designer, selling from a design perspective, you're telling them what they want. They don't know what price, they don't know what things cost. They don't know what a wire nut costs or a strip of wire or all these little bits and pieces. They don't know what landscape lighting costs. They think they do. But you're there to work through that. Did I cover that pretty well? Because I'm trying to keep everything on track. Market intelligence. This is market intelligence. Sitting at lunch, talking with people, joining the AOLP, networking with other green industry professionals, going to conferences, going to trade shows. Find out what's happening. And I'm not talking about going around and listening to sales pitch. Talk to the other people in your industry and people that you relate with. This is going to be one of the most dynamic times in our industry because we have to replace, once again, all the crap that's out there, and these landscape professionals are coming across it all the time. That's where you need to network, and that's where you need to understand what the market. If you're in, no one's out from California here, are they? Boy, if you want, there's one in the back room. If you want to make some money, go live in Palm Springs. That place, all the landscape lighting was done like in 1972. And none of it works. None of it works. I'm trying to break in, it's hard, but I'll tell you, that it's just a gold mine. Every house has got old landscape lighting ready, and there's a new revolution. And though they aren't price shopping, they want something cool, they want something mid-century. There's a relationship there to be made There's a product to roll out to them that is different than what they have. And we already know what Garden Light has to offer. Yeah, becoming a resource, and our last speaker touched on this real briefly. You want to get into the media markets and get some free press. Become a resource. I've been on television, I think, 4 or 5 times, and I should probably, of course I learned something new, I should probably post those videos. But I send out a press release every week in the spring to every TV station in my market saying, I will talk about landscape lighting, I will talk about outdoor living, I will talk about current trends. And almost always one of them will take me up on it. Almost always. Become a resource not only to landscape architects and designers, but to the media and writing articles or just answering questions. The Wall Street Journal called me, for God's sakes. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but they called me to ask questions about trends in landscape lighting. And it was just a short little blurb, but still, you never know where it's going to lead. Open your eyes in knowing the market. I think we just discussed that. Understand what your competition is, but also understand the new things. The big new trend, of course, is outdoor portables. Do we know what I mean by portables? Portables, what the professional design lighting industry calls lamps. Outdoor lamps, just 1 or 2, are one of the newest trends that you'll see in the marketplace. Understanding things like that. And then, of course, networking with other contractors. And when we talk about crafting your image, we just kind of talked about that earlier. I'm going to have a lot to cover, so I'm going to go quick. But your image, and I'll focus on this just for a second. When I go out with the landscape team, they look like they just got done installing a landscape. And from a design perspective or professional sales standpoint, I think that's a mistake. And you might disagree with me. You might all have you have to do what's right for you. But for the love of God, don't look like a contractor when you're trying to make a sale. Look like a business owner, and you can do it. You don't have to change all your clothes. Look like a business owner or look like a designer, or don't do it. Because people want to deal with, designers can always get more money, but people want to deal with on a professional level and not a contractor. I don't like the word contractor. I like the terms design and build. Design being first, build next. That's the key word in the industry right now, is design, build, not install and contract. We talked about this, the other Petersons that took some of my thunder. Gathering information, we've heard about that today. Understanding their neighborhood and getting a feel for their property. I will always drive by the property before I go to the appointment. Not only just to see what the property looks like and get a sense and a feel for the place, but to understand, especially at night, what I'm up against or what the client might be trying to emulate, or what the client wants to achieve, or just what kind of cars are parked in the driveway. People want to impress. As we all talked about earlier, they want to dress to impress. I can guarantee it, if I drove home in a brand new sports car, one of my neighbors would start thinking about buying a sports car. Same thing with landscape lighting. How did they find you? How did they refer? Up until I met Michelle and the Garden Light team, I have never taken out an ad in a newspaper or a magazine or anything. I've done no marketing at all. It's all been referrals. That's a mistake. That is a mistake. I know it is. But the most powerful thing, the information I can gather from a client, is how did they find me? And most of the time in my case, as Michael can attest to, it's because they were referred to me. Past client, or they liked me. Or they're another bald guy looking to work with another bald guy. Yep. Yeah, you do. If I find a bald guy with a goatee and smokes a cigar, it's sold. I mean, we just go to the cigar bar and close the deal. Finding common grounds and inroads with your clients. I'm talking about things I haven't talked before. I work with very wealthy clients, as we all do. They're all wealthy. But it's one of those things where you want to find in-grounds, things that you like, but those you have to keep in mind, they really don't want to be your friend all the time. You have to know when you're with a client that doesn't, they want to have inroads with you, but not too much, because some wealthy clients still see you as a help. Some see you as a friend, some are lifelong friends, but always be aware of that. But try to find inroads. Maybe it's classic cars, boats, cigars, maybe it's fine furnishings, maybe it's an art collection. Try to find something that helps bring you two together on an interest standpoint. Meeting your client's expectations, this is, I think, rudimentary for this group. We're all really professionals. We exceed them, so we don't have to worry about that. Finding out what makes them tick. And this goes into something we'll talk about real quick before we're done, controls. And you've all heard this, and if that have seen me talk before. I have a client that lives down in Tucson, Arizona. I did the interior lighting and exterior lighting of his house. You know what makes him tick? He had the entire PGA guys all over to his house for dinner. He takes every one of them, including Tiger Woods, which was quite a trend because Tiger did not want to go in the house. He takes them over and he shows them a button named Cookies. A little button, a little control button like that says Cookies. And what it does is it turns on the landscape lighting on the outside of the house to the kitchen, and it lights a pathway from his bed to the refrigerator, called Cookies at night. That's what makes them tick. Every client has it. It might be a certain tree or lighting up a pine tree where Muffy the poodle was buried. You never know. But find out that one thing. That one little switch, that one little presentation he does to every person that comes into his multi-million-dollar house. Does he show them the TV set that's the size of a billboard? No. He shows them the cookie switch. And he says, you know who did that for me? Nels Peterson. If you want to revolutionize your business, find that one little trick you can provide people. Another thing that makes them tick, if you go in, we talked about the coffee book. Michelle has that success book on her coffee table. If you make a coffee book for your clients of the project, showing the process, especially in a larger one, that book will almost always go on the coffee table, and they'll show almost everybody that comes over, look what Nels gave me. It's so powerful. And then getting the inside look. These are sort of my big, you've probably heard me talk about this before if you've seen me. You have to go inside. How many of you go inside the house when you do a landscape lighting proposal?
I do it more since I got ever since I heard you last time.
You don't need to get inside their house. It's complete BS. Well, yeah, but if you get inside their house, you get to see what kind of furniture they have, their furnishings, but more importantly, there is no way they can't say they don't trust you anymore. And if you can get into, it was a joke, but it's true. If you can say, could I see the master bathroom? Because a lot of people have jacuzzis. I'd like to look out that window. If they let you into their master bathroom, it's sold. If you lose that sale, something's seriously wrong with you, give me a call. That is like the inter sanctum. But all of these objections they're thinking of, and they don't want to buy from you. There's something deep inside of us, we're just going to have to wait on this. We're not going to make a decision tonight. All of those things start to disappear if you can make it to the bathroom or the bedroom. True. Asking questions, probing, and understanding their needs. This is part of the successful selling skills program that I was put through intensively. But this is really where the sales is made. Of course, you have to close it, but when you ask for their trust and you start asking probing questions, if you've got a client that's starting to give you feedback, you shouldn't be losing that sale. Go inside first, we just talked about it. Walk the entire property and uncover opportunities. So many guys in my market, they try to close the sale by standing on the front steps. Force those people to walk around the property. It brings up, always will bring up another sales opportunity. Subtle art of probing and trial closes. When you're doing that walk around, boy, that is a really good idea. Should we do that? And you know what? They'll do this when you ask the question. Should we do that? Yeah. So you just nodded. They can't help themselves. They're like lemmings. They'll do whatever you want. They go, yeah. You're closing them. You don't think you are, but you are. You're closing them every step of the way. Boy, that's a really, I love the way the pool is. We should put a light there and go, don't go like this. They go, People are really easily sold things that they want. Make your ideas, their ideas, your ideas. The Petersons talked about that earlier. Clients will tell you what they want and go, God, that's a really good idea. Or, lead them in a direction, but make this installation, this project, this design as much about their ideas as yours. Take notes, stay engaged, that's self-explanatory. Ask for their trust and then ask for the check. And I know some of you try to close on the first visit. I don't, I can't do it. I can't really do it, not very often. But I ask for a design fee when I've gone out and collected the information, gone through the tour of the master bathroom, looked at the neighbors. I ask them for a check. The check is irrelevant. People go, well, how much do you ask for? It doesn't matter. Make it up, whatever you feel comfortable with. I've asked for $2,000, I've asked for 10. And you joke, $10. If they'll give you a $10 bill, go, well, my design's gonna cost $10. If you get some smart ass, excuse me, see, I swore. If you, if you get, and I was working with a local Yoko that, thought he was tough crap. I said, how about $10? I'll design this for $10. He pulled out a $10 bill, it was sold. If they will write you a check for $250, whatever it is, doesn't matter. That job, you just sold the job. They will not tip. It happened once to me in my entire career where they asked me to cash the check because they were going with somebody else. And it's just because they didn't like me. I was not the type of person they wanted to work with. And that does happen. I'm way too, pushy. But interior design professionals and architects, you want to see a pushy person, go to a residential architect. And you should see how they handle their clients. It's horrible. It's like the architect's building his own house. The clients are irrelevant. Presenting your solution. I usually go back and present a solution, which is where I do what an interior designer does. I storyboard things. I lay everything out. This is, I'm going to be selling this job. Kyle from Oregon Outdoor Lighting would do a demonstration at this point. I don't do demos. I don't. And I came to the, shouldn't say I didn't do demos. I came here last year and I was in the presence, probably in my opinion, one of the most successful landscape lighting professionals I have ever met. And he told me he does a demo on every job. And I thought, what the hell have I been doing? What have I been doing wrong? If this guy's doing a demo, why am I not doing it? It doesn't have to be a full-scale one. Michael and I did a project after coming here. It actually made this sale because some people just can't understand what you're offering. You can't visualize it. Even if it's just 10 lights, give them something and take it away from them if they don't want it. Take it away. God, don't leave. Can you leave it up here for 5 days while, we get 10 other people? Give it to them and take it away if you can. But it's very powerful. This is where we do that. They're your ideas until they're paid for. Interior designers do not give away their designs, their storyboards, their fabric selections, their carpet, their tile, until they've gotten a check. Maybe you got it when you were there last time, but if they want to keep your design, you figure out what you're going to charge for it, and you make them pay. You make them pay, because it's very valuable. All decision makers need to be there. I don't think I have to tell this group that. Don't on a larger sale especially, unless you really understand the client, make sure the husband, the wife, the kids, sometimes the kids are pushing their parents to do this, believe it or not. Get as many people there as possible. Kids are the best salespeople. Have you ever been on a sales call where the kids help sell your project? It's really effective when you're doing a demonstration. They run around and they say, God, this is so neat. The parents can't take that away, especially pool projects or where you've done a little demonstration or brought the kids' play area into the proposal. We just talked about it. I storyboard every project, whether it's just a sheet of paper with pictures or it's a full cutout where I have different application fixtures. It's so powerful because people want that. You're selling a luxury item. When you go to a Cadillac dealership and buy a Cadillac, and you go over to the design rack, they've got carpet samples and leather samples. I think they even have a smell machine, and they've got pamphlets that are just gorgeous. Be prepared to impress them. Your competition will not do that. They will give them a sheet that goes, this is how much it's going to cost, and I haven't given you any details, but I need $25,000 to do the. Be the one person that stands out from the pack. Use samples of the product and let them touch and feel. When I met Michelle for the first time, I thought, okay, garden light, yeah, they're here. Yeah, great. Michelle, do you remember? I think you put this guy right here, this brass monster, into my hand. Do you remember that?
The V3.
Yep, the V3.
That's better than Wesson.
And am I running late?
No, you're
So what happened is the first thing that went through my mind was, oh my God, I can actually get a ton of money for that for my client. I mean, it sells itself. Don't bring, I think I've got it probably in this. Use photos of their home. Use photos that you've taken. Do not bring a catalog of any kind with you to a sales appointment. And I've been chastised for this before. I think that's the right word. Not castrated, no, but they're still there. But nothing, the first thing, if I handed you this guy right here, if I handed you a catalog, the first thing you do is open the page. No, yeah, no. But if they're gone. You might as well walk out the door. I used to, when I sold Kichler products, Kichler had they still have a beautiful catalog. I'd set that thing down, brand new catalog. Immediately they'd start paging through, and they'd pick out the path light with the squirrel holding the nut every time. Oh my God, why did I do that? So show pictures of what you're going to be putting on the property. Use your illustrations, and catalogs never, we just said that. Use a product that reflects the client's taste. This is the one thing that is really challenging, is when you have a company like this that has everything soft, people sometimes want something outside that reflects the interior of their taste. Great contemporary fixtures here, great things that work in a contemporary or traditional or a non-traditional setting. But if you have to, make sure you've got a couple tricks up your sleeve to bring a traditional element like a carriage lantern or something more decorative, because some people do like the decorative fixtures. Just be prepared to have that. And then design, placement, and illustration. Show the complete solution. I don't know how you guys do it, but I show the clients an actual design where the fixtures are going to go, technical information. I provide them with all the information they need, because my competition typically doesn't. It builds what? Credibility. Presenting your solution, give them the inside perspective look. We talked about that earlier. But guess what? When you go back, you don't sell this project in the front yard. You ask to go back in the house. It's a lot easier to close somebody at a kitchen table or a kitchen island than when they're standing on the front porch and the kids are yelling inside. Rewalk the entire project if you can. Sometimes it's already sold by this point. You don't have to worry about it. But rewalk the project. Trial close every important step and design element. Whatever tweaked their interest, make sure you bring that back up, because we're completing the sale. We're trial closing. Well, we're doing this because that was important to you, wasn't it? Well, you're not going to shake your head this time. You're prepared. But they'll agree with you. Share your vision. You're a designer. You're a design build firm. Share your vision. They want your opinion. And if they've written you a check already for your opinion, they really value it. Dress and act professionally. You are a designer. At this stage, you are a designer or a business owner. So always keep that in mind. I try not to show up. I don't install anymore, but I try not to show up any other way. Be technical and include installation details. A lot of guys, and I'm stereotyping here, will manspeak to the women of the house by not informing them of what the technical processes of installing landscape lighting. Make sure you don't leave that. And some clients aren't interested, you know them well enough not, but let them know where you're going to hang the transformers. And it's a non-visible, what'd you call it? Non-visible installation. And then assure and reassure, and then uncover any hidden objections. This is kind of a tough one to talk about. But in the car business or any business, you have to try to build something in your proposal. Give them something they do not want. They want to reject you. Especially on these trickier clients, they want to reject you. They want to reject you so bad. They may not even be aware of it, but deep down inside they have to say no. So get it out of the way. I'll go like, maybe we should like the swing set. They go, no! And you can just watch it, the stress, just because they said no now, they're just stressed, just leaves their whole body, and they're like, I know, this is great. We used to do things with carpet mats. Going, you probably want, I said, the Mercedes is a very special vehicle. How about we do some paint sealant on this? And of course, no paint sealant. We're not going to pay for that. You can just watch them melt. It just all the negative, because they had their chance to reject you on something. It's one of the most powerful selling techniques. It's almost never the price they don't understand. It's that they don't have a clear understanding. When you get rejected, it's not because of the price, it's because they don't understand what they're getting for the price. We talked about Home Depot and how we don't want to compare it to them. Home Depot salespeople go through a training system to upsell. You don't think they do, but they do. To upsell clients to more expensive furnishings, especially like plumbing fixtures, things with higher margin. People will spend more if they have a clear understanding of what they're getting. That's why I try to have everything I can with me from a technical standpoint, a material standpoint, and a performance standpoint to impress them and explain to them why a fixture costs $400. It's a lot easier to overcome an objection when you're prepared for it. You know, I just went up against a proposal where a guy says, well, I've got a 20% fudge factor built into the proposal. He told the client that. He said that's what the client relayed to me. Real? What? Be prepared to back. Ask them, they know it's expensive. They know I'm expensive. They know you're expensive. Tell them why you're expensive. Make sure you have a good, clear story of why you're expensive. Take some time to pause and think, you know, if their rejection is legitimate, a real objection. Sometimes you can't close every sale, but a lot of times, especially in Minnesota where we're very passive aggressive, and I'm not that way, but my clients are, they just, you know, it could be, I just don't like you, I just don't trust you, you know, I don't like, they're objecting for a reason that you have to uncover. It's not always legitimate, it's not often real. And, you know, we heard about the next big thing here is why. We heard the word why, which is the next evolution here. Why is the most powerful tool I can give you, and you've heard this before. When people reject you, you have to ask why and shut up. And they'll say, well, you know, gee, Nels, this part here seems really expensive. And now, of course, most people go, well, you know, that's made out of machine billet aluminum. No, they don't even know what they're objecting to. Just say why. Well, I saw it on I saw something like this on QVC for half that price. Now you understand what their objection is. It's not that it's too expensive, they don't understand what they're getting. Ask why and shut up. If they don't write you a check, ask why. Well, we don't, you know, we just need to think about it. How often do you get that? Everyone? Yeah, and what did you say? What did you say when they said that? No. You say why. Why? You know why it's hard. It's so hard to do. I don't always do it myself. But they will tell you, well, we don't get it. We're not going to get a check for, you know, from Aunt Edna's funeral for another 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, can we start the installation? How about writing me a check? We'll put it in the file. Call me when it's, whatever it is. Ask why, and don't say anything. We always go into the motor, we have to explain it, we have to cover our tracks, or we have to deduct something. Ask why. One of these technical things, when I'm in a sale, when I do a proposal, everything, if I have a wire nut, or a coupling, or any kind of connection, or wire, or staple, I list every damn thing that I'm going to put on that property. All my hours, all the time, all the effort, because I want to be able to explain to them why it is so expensive. And if I need to make a change, it's a lot easier to do it. We all have what our comfort levels are, but that's what I do, and that's what if you go to work with a professional interior design professional, he or she will have every little carpet piece, tile, screw, adhesive, they'll have it all listed out. Because if they take it away, they want to be able to explain what it is and how much it costs. I think we've covered that pretty well. Closing and asking for the sale. The good news is, if you've gone through the design process in that first set of logical order, it's probably already sold. You know, is your demo ready to go? If you've already had a demo out there. Ask for the sale and shut up. Turn the lights on, the demo's lit. Ask for the sale and shut up. It's so important. Like everyone here has said, give them the proposal. They've got the price, you've explained it. Give them the price and, don't say anything. No, if not, go back and ask why. We just beat that one to death. I have to think about it. Why? Too much, whatever. Too much is a legitimate concern, but there's always a reason for it. Overcome objections by thinking how. Take something away before dropping the price or your pants. Overcoming objections, you have to start thinking about how you're going to overcome it, don't give any credibility to their objection from a standpoint of trying to understand it. Just try to think about how you can overcome whatever it is that they said. Listen to what their objection is, but think about it, overcoming it. Don't think about taking something away right away. Well, the easiest way to overcome their objection, I'm going to give them a 10% discount. Don't ever do that. Think about a way to overcome their objection without going back to price. Because as soon as you return the conversation to price, what's the conversation about? And what it's going to end up? Price. Take something away. If they'd say no, if they say, well, it's too expensive, we're not going to spend more than 10 grand, your proposal's 12, take something away. I have a red pen with me when I go out, and I take and I cross that right off. No pool light at the east end. And, a red line on paper. No, we kind of wanted that. Well, what do you want me to cross off next? I can change that 14 fixtures to 10. I'm being dramatic. But make them feel pain. They don't want to feel pain. They want all of that stuff. When I sold Mercedes-Benz, I would say, they go, usually it wasn't a huge price thing, but we'd take something away. I go, you probably don't need that. We didn't even charge extra for a trunk mat. I said, maybe we should deduct the trunk mat. No, we want that. We want I said, we could take the mats out. It's only an S class. Do you really need mats? Make them feel pain, because the first thing they'll do is they'll sell it for you, because they'll say, no, we really want that. It's sold. Make them feel a little uncomfortable with the decision of saying no or trying to reduce the sale. They will never feel better than when they are writing a check. And that's when you need to ask for a referral. Not 2 weeks later, when they are writing the check or closing the sale or whenever that moment is where that transaction is complete. With my clients, it's usually when I'm having a glass of wine with them or we've walked the property at night. I close all sales at night. I go back to every project at night. They will almost always give you a referral or give you a lead into something else. That's the time to ask for a referral, is when they're writing your check, because they'll never feel more confident in you and they'll never be happier with you. Just a few power things to take away. I think I'm right on schedule. Want to double your sales? Double the amount of time you spend selling. We talked about that the very first thing. Track how much time it'd be really good. We've got cell phones that track time. My watch has got a thing that'll track time. Go out and track exactly how much time you're spending, and all you have to do to increase your sales is double it or increase it by whatever margin you want. You are selling so much less than you actually think you are. You really are. And I go back to this all the time. I'm like barely selling at all. I'm like, I'm going to Starbucks and driving around, Figure out it's a very easy way to increase your sales without having to work that much harder. Ask why, and then think how. The sale is made during the interview and when you first meet the client. Manifest, as we were talking about, manifest the sale. I'm becoming a real big believer in that. Visualize the completed sale. Visualize your crew or yourself working on that project. It's amazing how that transforms the sales process. Be a designer, a solution provider, not a fixture salesperson or a contractor. Really focus on the design side and you'll sell a lot more. And then the most important design skill that I've ever been given, the most important advice from a design standpoint that gets violated all the time is light requires distance. I should probably get a tattoo of that somewhere, but that's my mantra. Light requires distance. If your landscape lighting looks like crap, if your project looks like crap, it's because you violated that rule. Distance gives you control. Distance gives you softness. Distance gives you evenness. It's the hallmark of any kind of lighting, theatrical lighting, residential lighting, or landscape lighting. And that's all I have.